I miss the crickets. You don't. I mean, for me, I really enjoy them. Like when they're gone, it's just so quiet and it's just so. It's sort of just dead feeling, you know. Like the crickets, it's like an orchestra playing, but it's really gentle. The nighttime is death, not in like a morbid, like creepy way, but because the sun's light brings daytime, it brings life. The sun causes growth. The sun brings growth and life, electricity. The moon can be around during the day, but the moon's effect, I mean, the moon is, its former purpose has been spent. Clearly, I mean, you just take one look at it. But it still suits a purpose at night when it comes through and it shines this light that it's been gathering from the sun. It absorbs light and it glows. The moon, when it shines its light, when it glows on things, it speeds up the decay process. It brings on, it actually helps death. It like speeds up the process. Like it decay. The moonlight causes decay, death. So the sunlight causes life, brings growth, and this moonlight causes decay, brings death. You know, it's the yin yang, the yang yin, within, without, the toroidal life form that is nature in itself. We see the analemma in the sky, it's the sun's path. The analemma is kind of like a profile image of a toroid field. Like it goes, it's the figure eight. You know, it's like this within without loop. The analemma tells me that that what happens in the north happens in the south, because it's like it's the same shape. You know, it makes a loop there and it makes a loop there. It's got to be pretty much the same thing. There's a bigger loop, but that's just about perspective, because which is weird because like you're in the northern hemisphere or northern region, whatever you want to call it, and you're looking at the analemma, you're going to see the bigger loop in the south. But when you're in the south and you're looking at the analemma, you're going to see the bigger loop in the north. So I guess it's not. That's kind of like I don't know what that's all about. I think that's more about just perspective. But I would think you would see the bigger one in the one in the closer to you. I don't know. I mean, that's just what the observations have shown. And at the equator, you see the infinity symbol. It's not a figure eight. It's more of like an evened out infinity symbol at the equator. The analemma is a huge clue as far as what the sky is doing. I mean, you know, just for shits and giggles. I mean, we can't really say because the sky could just, you know, at the very least, the sky is just a fancy light show. Because we can't go and run science on it, you know. We can just do observation studies on it, which is great. You know, it's fun to do. I call it the heavens, you know, it's all part of the system we're existing in, obviously. And, you know, I think the moon is an old sun. I think we're on our second sun. And I think we draw our spark of life. Every soul that's spawned on Earth draws a spark of life from the source of spark, the sun, the soul source, the sun, the soul. SOL, sun, soul. That's where you get your soul spark from when you're spawned on Earth. You draw your soul from the soul source, the sun. The sun is given birth to from the Earth, right out of the navel of the Earth, right there where the whirlpool is. Pops out. The sun's born. The Earth gives birth to a sun. It's the soul source. It breaks off an umbilical cord and pops into the sky and activates. It's beautiful, but it's like giving birth for real. And so the sun shoots up in the sky and begins its cycle right there in the middle, and just starts cycling out and back in again, and spawning life. You know, the sun. That's why there's sunspots, because there's souls that are spawned on the Earth. They draw their soul right from the source, so it's drawing from the soul source. Enough souls get drawn, you know, at one time. Creates a sunspot where those souls used to be. And a sun can be be drained of all its souls eventually. If all the souls keep going to heaven, that's what stars are. The stars are just smaller parts of the whole, you know. They're individual souls that have gone to heaven. A lot of times people's souls will just kind of recycle back into the environment. You know, the spark of life, when you die, your spark kind of dissipates into the environment around you, and it just eventually ends up back at source, basically. And you know, but like if you go to heaven, you know, you become a star, and if you shine bright enough, you know, your soul will go to the heaven and become a star. That's what all the stars are up there in heaven. We have like a whole sun's worth of stars up there, and some, because I believe we're on our second sun. The first sun is still up there in the sky. It just went dark after it spawned its last soul. And when a sun goes dark, it immediately hardens. It's like this plasma substance the sun's made of. But when it spawned all its life, it goes dark and it hardens immediately. So you can see on the surface where all the bubbles and shit popping off was all crazy. When it hardens, you can see all the little spots where the bubbles were popping and shit. There's like little craters all over it where the bubbles are popping, you know, and all this weird sort of stretchy looking. The surface looks trippy, you know, a dead sun. It's all hardened, but it's made of, you know, sun plasma substance or whatever you want to call it. But it's made of the stuff suns are made of, you know. It just doesn't have any source in it left. But when the new sun shines on it, it charges and it kind of absorbs some of that light, you know, and it makes it glow. So it's still, you know, it's still made of the stuff suns are made of, so it can glow and be made to glow really bright, but it doesn't have life in it, so it doesn't sustain. It's just about whenever the sun's shining on it, it'll charge it up, it absorbs it. But, yeah, and so, you know, you can tell an old sun just because it's doing the same thing. Like, it's basically the same size as a sun, you know, and it's up in the sky doing the same thing the sun does, going in circles over your head. The thing is, when a sun runs out of its soul source, it begins losing elevation ever so slowly. It starts to sink back down to the earth. But, you know, so it's going to be on kind of a different cycle than the sun is, but because it's going to be closer. But you'll see they're both about the same size. And if you go out next time the moon's out, the moon's an old sun, and you can go look for its belly button where it first broke off its umbilical cord, because you can find it. Now that you know what you're looking for, go look for its belly button. You'll spot it right away. Trust me. And so there was a time when there was no sun in the sky for a moment. But the earth, you know, gets cold really quick and knows to give birth to a new sun, and that's what happened. Or at least in my little story that I'm writing, you know. I figured, dude, I'm just gonna, like, make my own story up, because we've been told all these fucking stories about space and the sky and all this shit, you know, and it's like all these fucking distant galaxies and all this crap. It's just too vast and too, like, you know, it just makes me feel so small and disconnected from everything, and I don't want to be in that situation anymore. I'm just gonna write my own story, because none of that shit can be proven anyway, is what they're saying. My story is just as likely, really. I mean, I'd rather it be just my own original interpretation instead of just having to trust these people that I don't even know. I mean, how do I know that they're right? Because nobody can go out there and fucking verify any of the shit they're saying. Whenever they've tried to show us space, they've failed badly and made fake shit, and it's just been busted so bad, and they're still trying to play it off. It's pretty sad, and people think flat earthers are all sad because they're like, don't believe in the space, and it's like, dude, I'd hate to have to defend this shit that they present, man, because it's really bad. And, like, I would be defending it in bad faith, because it's just impossible for me to see it as being legit. I mean, it's fake. I mean, I'd put all my money on that. It's fake, dude. I mean, whatever. They might be launching shit in the air. I can't say they're not doing that, but it doesn't mean they're going to space stations and going to the moon. Nobody's doing that. They wouldn't take those risks, and it's not even possible. It's just like, whatever, dude. And maybe, you know, maybe it's possible, but they're not doing that because all they've shown us is fake shit. And, I mean, I could prove that in a court of law. It's just a piece of cake. There's so much fake shit I could just dip into and just present it and then be like, there'd be no explaining it other than the fact that it's fake. I mean, you could There's no excuses for a lot of the stuff that I know of. I mean, it's just like, I'm sure anybody that's been watching this, studying this stuff for a while, they know exactly what I'm talking about. There's like footage of dudes floating by on a harness. And there's like glitches where you can see the fucking green screen. You can actually see the green screen. Dude, I mean, it's just terrible. Their hair-sprayed hair. It's just, oh God, some of it's, sometimes it's just so obvious. I mean, it's just terrible. It's just awful. But like stuff like that where it's just like, there's no way to explain your way out of it. And then the moon landing, the whole thing is just ridiculous. All you gotta do is take a look at the limb and ask yourself, how's this thing made of plastic fucking curtain rods and construction paper and tinfoil? How does this thing travel like 8,000 miles per hour through the vacuum of space, and land, like, with people in it and stuff going, with all this thrust on it, they have to take off the moon. When that little shit, dude, that thing's just a piece of junk. It's a cheap stage prop, and it looks terrible. I mean, it did not age well. I mean, it's awful. There's no way that shit's real. There's no way. No, it's not possible. And I've never really heard anyone actually defend that one shot of the limb where you can actually see the, like, construction paper, like, peeling up on the side and shit. Nobody's ever gonna try and fucking defend that because it looks so bad. I'm just surprised that that's how bad it looks, really. It's no wonder they destroyed the technology. I'd get rid of that shit right quick, dude. It's embarrassing. I mean, the moon landing is the most embarrassing achievement of mankind, for sure. Next to the ISS. Most embarrassing achievements of mankind. It's terrible. And, I mean, all the money that gets spent and put into it, I mean, it's ridiculous. Just to keep everybody thinking they're on a fucking spinning ball. And it's like, the more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget. But $80 million a day, it's an awful lot of money to pay to get such a cheesy presentation of the International Space Station when they do their spacewalks. I think they're in a swimming pool on Earth when I see those bubbles in space, bubbles in space. I see the duper's look of delight on their face. They do the science of deception, oh for shame. They got a lot of hairspray, gotta use a lot of hairspray if you wanna make your hair look that way. They do a lot of science. They do the science of somersaults, somersault science. It's so important. They do somersaults and they show us how to use the toilet in outer space. It's so exciting. And the more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget, but $80 million a day. You think you'd have more to say for yourself, but it's just this empty words and fluff talk. Need to have a suspension of disbelief. Can't be asking any questions. That's why they don't let anyone interview them that's older than 8 years old. You gotta be in the 3rd grade if you wanna get an interview with the ISS. That's just because it's fake. And the children are the only ones who don't read but they will soon. Because it's pretty fucking obvious. Once you look with a critical eye, you'll see a guy on the harness floating by. And like I said, they do the science of deception. They got the green screen trickery and the augmented reality. It's just a sad sight to see. Hopefully, yeah, they'll get shut down by society once we all bond together and say no more hoaxing. You gotta just shut down that propaganda machine and just go back to living in reality. There's got to be like a dejected children of astronauts special help group where it's like, you know, they just hate their parents. They're like, my mom's such a liar, dude. She says she's going to the fucking space station, you know. Has all this hairspray all of a sudden, you know. It's just like, what the fuck's she doing with all this hairspray? You know, she doesn't normally wear hairspray.
Hi.
Hey, hon. Want me to make your bed? Huh?
Love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Because I'm going to go watch shows and eat chips and
Yeah, I'll make your bed.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, love you. You gotta use a lot of hairspray if you wanna make your hair look that way. And so Bart Sibrel, like, shutting down that one astronaut that's like, oh, but I walked on the moon. It's pretty much like the end of an era, you know? Like, nobody can believe in the moon landing anymore. Because that guy was just so dumb, and, like, Bart brought all his fucking receipts, you know, and the dude didn't have nothing. He just thought, but I did it. You know, and they were just clowning the guy. They're like, oh, yeah, you're winning a fucking Oscar for your acting right now. He's like, wait, are you saying we didn't go? What the fuck? Duh. You haven't heard of that conspiracy theory before? That you didn't go to the moon? But I did go. It's like, dude, they really did a number on that guy, you know? I mean, it's kind of sketchy.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm coming.
I was going to tell you one thing and
What?
ask you another thing.
What?
Can I have dessert?
Yeah?
And, guess what?
What?
One of your shorts had 1,043
Really?
views on it.
What? Which one?
I honestly forgot. But
That's
I know
cool.
it is.
All right, I gotta go make my kids' bed for them here real quick. So if anybody's in there, you want to hang out for a second? I guess bring you in here. Maybe I'll just run my mouth.
Oh my god.
You gotta use a lot of
Yeah, can you close
hairspray.
the door, please? I'm like freezing. What do we have for dessert?
Oh.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, we have the chocolate cake. Oh, I
I
tried
got the
that.
chocolate cake. Got some cookies and there's some ice cream.
Cookies? Oh, I see the cookies.
There is.
Where's Bingo tonight?
I haven't seen
It's
them, though.
really cold outside.
The raccoons haven't been up yet either.
Dad, it says it can snow tomorrow if it gets down in
It's gonna snow tomorrow?
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be cool if it snowed really hard and then nobody had to go to school or work or anything?
That'd be cool, but also tomorrow's Sunday, so.
I know, but if it just snowed for like 2 weeks, we'd have a white Christmas.
2 weeks.
Wouldn't that be
Gotta be
radical?
sick.
So what, do you want chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's really rich, so I'm not gonna give you that much.
Can I try try a tiny bit bite to see how rich
Yeah.
this is. Apparently.
It's like so rich. It's fudgy. It's the real fudginess.
That tastes like a birthday cake. Oh my god.
So
That's
good.
really good.
This is like too good. Trader Joe's has got to be the best store to shop at. I couldn't believe that that wasn't even $100 worth of food that we got. It seemed like it was going to be at least. But it was only like $75.
My throat was hurting from how rich that was.
Whenever we check out, it's always more than I expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then the
Safeway is
when
great.
you
They give
expect
5
more
things,
than-
it's $100.
Yeah, it's always more money than I expect it to be. And even though there's like sales and shit. But at Trader Joe's, it's always actually cheaper than I expected it to be. And it's probably because Safeway's got me trained to expect I'm going to get ripped off.
It's ridiculous.
But Trader Joe's, I mean, it just goes to show that Trader Joe's doesn't rip you off because there's this store down the street that's more expensive, but they're not tempted to raise the prices because of it. They're just cool that way.
They're just cool like that.
Yeah. And their prices have stayed consistent. There's a few things that have raised, but like what though? Like their chocolate went up $1.
I've never seen tiny little raised, but that's it. Yeah.
Can I have the blanket?
Oh yes. Sheet blanket.
Z blanket. Zebra blanket.
Ooh. Lovely. Oh, you're cozy. You got your dessert.
Mm-mm. It looks good.
I'm gonna take a video of this album cover. This is Supertramp, released in 1979. Supertramp. But then when you look at it mirrored, you can see that the Twin Towers right there have a 9/11 right behind them. Interesting. Sure, it's just a coincidence. And the picture that you're looking at on the album cover is, it's depicting a photograph taken from inside a plane approaching New York. And there's a 9/11 behind the Twin Towers. And so you're inside a plane approaching New York. There's a 9/11 behind the Twin Towers. The album's called Breakfast in America, right? Because it happened in the morning. And they said that the towers, this is what the explanation for what happened to the towers that day. It's a phenomenon known as pancaking, they call it. Pancaking. The floors fall and the weight kind of, builds exponentially as it goes down. That's not what happened, but that's what they say happened. So it's pancaking, going with the theme of Breakfast in America. This album's called Breakfast in America. So when you get the pancaking at the Breakfast in America, there's a 9/11 behind the Twin Towers right there. This picture is taken from an airplane window approaching New York. Breakfast in America on 9/11, pancaking. You guys on the back here, they're all eating breakfast, got their newspapers. And got the little logo here, their little logo. It's like a Lady Liberty with an airplane about to crash into her. Take a jumbo across the water. Take a look at my album. It's got predictive programming. It's just a coincidence. I'm sure that didn't really mean. Take a look at my predictive programming. It's just a coincidence. 9/11, huh? Behind the Twin Towers. Oh, that's totally a coincidence. You can take the letters from the Supertramp, and you can spell September Trap. You can spell USA. No, September Trap USA. But you have to turn the P, one of the P's over so it's a B. But still, you can spell September Trap, USA, with Supertramp, using the letters from Supertramp. I'm trying to think if there's any other stretches that I've been able to squeeze into this one. At the Breakfast in America, don't order the pancaking, the dust cakes. The building's pancakes. No, they didn't. They fucking turned limp and just fell. There was no pancaking going on. They just tell us that something's happening when it clearly isn't, and people just believe it. That's sad. They pancaked. So what, you're saying that they pancake like one floor at a time, like doon, 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 and it got faster because the weight was building up. Goo, 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 goo. That sounds like it would work in theory, but the thing is, if you look at the videos, well, that's not what happened. The whole thing just went limp and just fell. Faster than you could clap your hands a dozen times. 110-story building just fell right before your eyes. Twice. And then another one. And that one didn't even get hit by planes. Not that anything got hit by planes. There was no planes. I think they would have that factored into their fucking... Imagine how hard that would be to pull off, really. I mean, just the logistics of that. Like trying to get 2 planes to fly into the Twin Towers. I don't even know if you could pull that off. But no, they just simulated that part. They just hit it with a fucking missile or something, you know? Who knows? But it wasn't planes. Fuck no. Those videos of the planes, that video of the plane hitting the building, it totally gave it away. Because you can see the plane, it's like it's entering the building and there's still no damage occurring yet. You can see it already into the building. It's like entering into it. You can see the part of the plane disappearing into the building and there's no explosion happening yet. That's not how it would look in real life. The plane's made of aluminum. The building's made of steel. The plane would start to buckle and crumple the second it hit that thing. It would be a big explosion, but you'd see that thing just crumpling. But it wouldn't go into the building just without causing any breaking or exploding yet. It's so dumb. They make these videos like they think people aren't gonna fucking... That's why you have to think like, oh, did they made mistakes on purpose or something? But I think they're just fucked up people, and they just have, they take cheap... I don't think they make mistakes on purpose. I think they just suck, And like, I think sometimes they might there's like whistleblowers that kind of want to give it up, they can kind of give up their fucking game. It's sort of like a passive aggressive whistleblower, like, where they're just sort of like making it so obvious that it's a hoax. Like the Robbie Parker, he's like laughing and shit. They kind of give you the answer sometimes. I mean, that Handy Shook thing that was a real fucking zinger, man. They got it's just fucking, ugh. They want to get you by your heartstrings and just fucking squeeze on it. But the thing is, if you ever see the news and it's making you feel emotional, you have to understand that you're being manipulated. You're being manipulated. I mean, it doesn't matter, like, if it's true or not. At the point where you just realize you're being manipulated, then it's not good. Because people do that for reasons. They're going to manipulate you to exploit you, to, like, help design your worldview and like, program you, basically. Like, the second they got a TV in everyone's house, they knew it was all over for the American people. Because they just had everyone staring at a screen. They still are. I am too. But, like, I'm aware of the trick being played on us. At least that's what I'm spending my time doing, is talking about that. Because the more people that get off the world stage and just get off fucking taking it seriously, or just stop believing in it altogether, I mean, we can't participate with it. We have to pull away and just call it out for what it is. Just a big fake bullshit scam. They're writing, it's like nothing is ever how it's being portrayed. Like, it's like in the history books, they're going to talk about the pandemic and the magic vaccine that cured everybody, and there was no pandemic. The vaccine didn't do shit but hurt people and kill people. So it's like, they're going to tell the opposite story. That's just one example. And that's just how it goes down. They're going to fucking spin the fucking story to make it fit their narrative, I don't know why. I don't know why you get, like, what the fuck? Why would you even want to do that? It's so stupid. They have all these, agendas going on. I mean, the World Economic Forum, they have way too much power. I mean, the second COVID became a thing, they had their fucking, on their website, it had that, like, it was like this man, this naked man, all, like, standing like that with his arms and legs out, like, I forget what that's called, but it's like it's all like a piece of, it's like a piece of art or whatever, but they had a man like that, and it was like the COVID map. It had all these different things in a circle going off. It was like COVID-19, and it had all these different things about COVID. And it was like all this different shit. It was like all these little boxes that were being ticked by this agenda of COVID-19. They made it so obvious. And, that was creepy as fuck. I mean, once I saw that, I'm like, oh man, this is some serious shit we're up against here. This is wild. Like, the whole thing was just a big hustle, I tried to warn people, but I just got deleted. Now they let me talk about it, now that I fucking have no audience. Whatever, who cares? YouTube sucks. They just suck, man. They don't fucking try to do me any favors, that's for sure. What should I do? Should I play a song? Nobody gives a fuck. I'll play a song just because I give a fuck. I give a fuck. Until I play a song that will suck. No, this song's gonna be really good. It's gonna be fucking awesome. You can't ignore what's happening anymore. No, you can't ignore it anymore. No, you can't ignore what's happening outside your door. There's a silent war on your soul, and it's become all too clear what's really going on right here. It's your freedom they seek to restrict and dispose of. And they know no love, nothing good comes from them. They just have deception. And it's been a long time coming. It's a long, long con that we've been subjected to, me and you. We're just the innocent victims of their scam and their system that has no love for a man. When was the last time that humanity got a win? They don't let humanity get any love. It's just pushing the opposite direction all the time. Oh yeah, Donald Trump, he's just an old geezer. His glory days are spent, and now he's just a mental calamity. He's got an ego that he can't let go, and it's all he really thinks about. He's got his head in the clouds, and he's just coming apart at the seams. it seems we got a lame duck named Donald. He don't give a fuck, that's for sure. He's gonna make America a global alliance. MAGA, MEGA, MAHA, MAHA, HAGA, MAGA, LAGA, HAGA, HAGA, Mar-a-Lago, MAGA-LAGA, Mar-a-Lago. Make a Maga-Laga-Laga, make myself a Margarita at the Mar-a-Lago, Maga-Miga. Make Israel great again. Miga, Miga, Maga, Miga, Margarita. Gonna drink a Margarita at the Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lago. And Maga gonna go get a Margarita. Maga, make a Miga, make Israel great again. Miga, 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 Maga, 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 Moo, Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lago, need more margaritas. Margarita mix, please. Boop deep deep dap deep 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 dap deep dap deep dap doo. He's gonna just try to avoid the Epstein files. It's just been a little bit strange. The game that he's been playing, he expects no one to notice how sketchy he behaves. It's like, obviously you're guilty, man. You know that Trump had to be the kingpin of the sex trafficking ring. Give me a break, please. 'Cause Trump don't associate with people that don't let him be king. Ever since he was a kid, he's always been the one guy that's like, I get to be the king, I'm the king, make me the kingpin, I'm the king, me, 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 me. I'm the one who's at the top, I'm the leader. So you know that Jeffrey Epstein was just his employee. That's how it went, and that's how it is. It's obviously a sketchy business that this guy is running. He just thinks he can do anything he wants. You got a lame duck named Donald. I don't know, dude. Fuck that song. That song sucks. If I had a better song to sing, I'd sing it to you. Sea Lightning, what's up, man? Oh, it doesn't sound good. You don't gotta say that. Sound like shit. Sounds like shit. Yeah. I miss the crickets, man. I like the crickets. They're like a summertime thing. It always made my recording sound cool and have the crickets in the background. Now it's just so quiet. If I had the world to give, I'd give it to you as long as you live. Would you let it fall. Oh, hold it all in your arms. If I had a song to sing, I'd sing it to you as long as you live. A lullaby, or maybe a soft serenade. Wouldn't you laugh, dance or cry, or be afraid at the change you made? Maybe I don't have much to give. Maybe I have a song or two. Only if you let me be your world, could I ever give this world to you? 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 Maybe I don't have much to give, but maybe I have a song or two. Only if you let me be your world, could I ever give this world to you? 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 Maybe I don't have much to give. Maybe I have a song or two. Only if you let me be your world, could I ever give this world to you? 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 Da, 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 da. You better act fast, Jack, as last as the hammer in the brass tacks. On top of lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asshole, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out bag, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around, cause this whole thing's gonna come down. You better act fast, jack, fast, fast, chance a hammer in the brass tacks. That's just a lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asshole, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out bag, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around, cause this whole thing's gonna come down. That's right. We'll see who's laughing in the place that's collapsing in the free fall. Anything can happen when the ship goes down. So does the captain. Wherever you are is where you'll be stuck there when this place goes belly up. Better have yourself a damn good plan when the shit hits a fan. Now when the going gets tough, you better be clever enough. You gotta know what the fuck to do. You're gonna run amok, let the muck run you. You better act fast, jackass, last chance a hammer in the brass tacks. But don't go lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asshole, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug up, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around, cause this whole thing's gonna come down. That's right. The whole thing's gonna come down, okay? Yeah, the whole damn thing is gonna come down. Lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asshole, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around, cause this whole thing is gonna come down. That's right. And we will see who's laughing in the place that's collapsing in a free fall. And anything can happen when the ship goes down. So does the captain. Wherever you are is where you'll be stuck there when this place goes belly up. Better have yourself a damn good plan when the shit hits a fan. When the going gets tough, you better be clever enough. You gotta know what the fuck to do. You're gonna run amok, but let the muck run you. Better act fast, jackass, last chance a hammer in the brass tag. And time to lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asshole, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around, cause this whole thing is gonna come down. That's alright. The whole thing's gonna come down, okay? The whole damn thing is gonna come down. That's how it goes. You better rock, you got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. You got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. Got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. And light it on fire. Light it on fire. You put it in, 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 you put it in your mouth. Got to put it in, you put it in, you put it in, you put it in, you put it in your mouth. You got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. And light it on fire. If you want to smoke, you got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. Got to put it in, you 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 put it in your mouth. You got to put it in, you put it in, you put it in, you put it in your mouth. And light it on fire. If you want to smoke, got to put it in On that note, oh shit, I smoke. Ah, it almost got away from me there. You got to put it in, you put it in, you put it in, you put it in. Put it in your mouth. Here's the thing, like, see how it's all foggy here right now? I guess you can't see that, but it's so foggy, you can't even see the sky at all. And, like, here's something that people need to think about. People that think flat Earth is stupid. If there was no view of the sky, like if we didn't see the sky, if you just have to, as for a thought exercise, I mean, like, if there was no view of the sky, nobody in a million years would have ever thought the Earth is a globe. It's strictly because of what we see in the sky that we came to that conclusion. And, you know, it's pretty interesting, really. I mean, it's not like some half-ass hack job model. I mean, they put it together really diligently, and it's quite amazing. You can't blame them for thinking the Earth's the globe. They're, you know, they fell in love with their model. They thought they were unraveling, they're just getting to the truth. You know, they're like, the sky is telling us something. It's like the grand mystery, like, where the fuck are we, you know? It must have been exciting. They're like, look, the analemma, you know, and the ephemeral. We see a figure 8. Like, how do we have seasons? What's going on here, you know? And there's like, the sky sort of has a wobble to it or something. It makes this figure 8. And, you know, then we look at the sunspots. We're like, the sunspots are like in motion around the sun. What are they doing traveling around the sun? Why is the sunspots flying around the sun? That's weird. And then after a while, they're like, we have 2 poles. There's 2 24-hour suns. You know, I'm starting to think about this out, and there's 2, you know, the stars rotate in different directions, and they start doing all the glober talk, you know. Like, we might be on the surface of a globe, and that's why we're seeing the things we see in the sky. And, you know, it almost kind of makes sense. I mean, it really does. And they're like, maybe the sunspots are just stationary, but we're flying around the sun. The sunspots aren't flying around the sun, it's us. And then they combine that with the analemma observant. Well, they're like, if the Earth is a ball and it's spinning, it would have to be tilted away from the sun just a tad. And then the tilt's going to cause it to wobble as it spins. And then we'll have seasons, you know, the way the sun's going to pass over us while we're spinning. It's going to be like this weird wobble that we're doing. But, I mean, they've had to, like, come up with so many ways to explain, like, it's a fucking, the orbit around the sun is like a, you know, it's not a perfect circle. It's a ellipse, you know. So it's like, that right there is already a problem because there's a speed change. I mean, that, you can't really make any sense of that, really, because the speed change would be noticeable, and it would cause problems. I mean, for real. I mean, it's like, how are we speeding up and slowing down? That's one thing we'd have to wonder, you know. It's like the magic of this force of gravity is whipping us around the sun. I mean, they're really grandiose claims, you know. It's like, because when you think about it, like, we just have, you know, what we have is what we're seeing. You know, we see the sun pass over us, and it's like, for someone to say that we're flying around the sun, you know, while everything here on Earth remains all undisturbed and all looks pristine, but we're actually flying around the sun. I mean, that's such a huge claim to try to pull off, try to make people believe, because they can't feel any motion. They don't see any signs of any motion. There's like, to think that we're flying around the sun, you know, at all these crazy speeds. I mean, you'd have to look around you and be like, well, it sure doesn't seem like we're doing that, you know? That's pretty fucking crazy when you think about it. Like, if they had taught you that when you're a grown man, you'd never buy it. But it's the fact that you're taught when you're a little kid, it becomes like, sort of like fucking stamped in your mind. You're like, how come the people don't fall off the ball when they're upside down? Well, they're not upside down. Well, how come? Well, because of this thing we have, it's called magic. It keeps people from feeling like they're upside down. Everybody feels like it's just right side up everywhere they go on the ball. Well, that is like magic. Well, okay, that works. That makes sense. Magic. You know, that totally makes sense. It'd have to be magic, right? Because it's not a ball, you know, when you look at it and you, like, measure it or, like, live on it and interact with it, you never have to, like, worry about any curvature or any spin or any of this crap. None of that stuff is it's totally a moot point. I mean, you can't even measure it to any meaningful degree. Like it's not there. You know, it's all like, you know, it's so slow and so gradual that it's just like becomes this thing where it's like, well, it's just you can't see it. And we're at the sweet spot right here where it's like it just becomes a flat and stationary plane, which like otherwise be like this spinning, curving ball. But like we're just at that point where it's like you can't tell. Yeah, but the thing is about the orientation, you know, about like anywhere on the ball you're standing up and nobody's upside down and the oceans are curving around the ball. That's the part that's really pretty silly. And it's really not true. I mean, yeah, the sky might have told you that you think that we live on a ball, or maybe you might have think that makes sense, and I guess maybe it would to somebody who is really like passionate about wanting to prove reality or something. But for me, it's like I would the the, the possibility of us living on the outside of a ball that's spinning while we're all feeling like stationary and upright. That option of like possibilities is the last possible one that you want to go with because it's just so crazy and silly, and it's basically been disproven as far as I'm concerned to my standards. I mean, there's no curvature, and that alone right there debunks it. You can't measure any of the motion, you know, other than the normal force pushing up on you. But that's different. We can't, this non-rotating plane that we live on. I mean, that's what our objective reality is. So you really, what you could just say is that the globe information is moot. It's irrelevant. You don't need to know it. It's fucking totally useless. Now they're going to come at you like, well, where's your flat earth map? Well, I don't fucking travel the whole earth. How am I supposed to provide you with that? There's just places you can go. You know, you just have to figure out how to get there and go. I mean, dude, you got to admit that if the earth is a ball, then it's like a cartoon world or something. It's crazy. It's not real. Like, I'd rather have a cartoon sky than a cartoon earth. Like, that's, I'd much rather have a sky that I can't explain than a ball that we all feel upset right side up on. Because that just defies reality. We don't see anything like that in nature where there's like creatures living on the outside of a ball and none of them feel upside down. I mean, like ants on a basketball, they're going to know when they're on the bottom of the ball. They got to hold on tighter or whatever. It's just not something we've ever seen anywhere in reality. And it's funny how we will like find ourselves defending it before we really understand what the flat earth conversation is about. I mean, you have to look at the space presentation and realize, like, why are they faking space? Like, there's something up with that, you know? There's a reason why they're faking space, and it's not because space is real. No, it's because it's fake. And so our cosmology that we've been told is true is lacking in receipts. You can't prove it from down here on the ground, and then when people have gone up into space, try to prove it from there, they've fucking failed miserably and presented us nothing but fraudulent shit that's totally discredited. And like, because they did that, it just makes us go, well, fuck. Perhaps it's because it's not possible, because it's not real, you know? That's what a critical mind would come to that conclusion, just be like, well, until I can witness it myself, it's obviously just going to be this thing where it's like the globe is being inferred by the way the sky is functioning. But that's not proof. That's just like inference. You know, it's being inferred, but it's not being proven. And in fact, there's so many things about that model that have been disproven. Like the fact that you can see, you know, wait, there's no curvature. You can shine a laser parallel with the ground for 40 miles and it's perfectly parallel the whole fucking way. It doesn't diverge at all. There's no curvature is what I'm saying. So, and until somebody like wants to just finally address that in the glober world, you know, it's like they just want to try to say, oh, the refraction, or you're just not doing it right. But the thing is, yeah, it's not hard to do. You just shine the laser level. If it remains level and parallel, then you know what? There's no curvature. It's not that hard to figure out. All these boats over the horizon, the sunset, how could you? It's like, no, dude, you just have to zoom in on those things after they start to disappear bottom up. You realize that they didn't disappear bottom up, that it's just a matter of perspective. It's like you don't see forever. Things compress into your field of vision, and eventually they get too far away to see. The clouds that you see meeting the ground on the horizon, they're not really meeting the ground. It's just the way everything comes together there, you know? It's like the vanishing point. It's an illusion. I mean, I had to go buy a camera to finally prove that to myself. And when I did, I realized that, well, the sun wasn't really setting below the horizon because I zoomed in on it and it's back up in the sky in my camera. So that just proved to me that what I thought I saw happening wasn't really fucking happening, you know? Now, of course, a bunch of people have said I did it wrong or whatever, and the Earth must be a globe and you just didn't do it right or something. But I did it right as far as my, as far as realizing here's what I thought I saw was happening was the sun sinking below the horizon, like we're told that it does. And then I zoomed in on it, and I was able to see the gap between the sun and the horizon again. It was up in the sky on my camera. So I realized right then that it was an optical illusion. It's just getting further away. That was good enough for me right there to start questioning everything. Because if it's going behind the curve of the Earth, then it's going behind the curve of the Earth. You're not going to be able to zoom in on it and bring it back up in the sky. That doesn't make sense. No. They want you to think that this curve of the Earth is just so elusive, you're never going to find it. Like gravity flattened everything out for you, but it's still a ball. It's still there, but it's not there. It's like it's not about elevation. People say, well, it dropped this many feet, but it's like, well, no, elevation is different. Elevation is all like, they got your mind all tangled up to where it's like, dude, gravity and this curvature are two things you'll never be able to prove. Because, you're always being subjected to the force of gravity, so you can't ever, like, manipulate it or remove it or, like, prove that it's gravity that's, They just needed to describe gravity in a certain way to where it would, like, hold you to the outside of a ball like a magnet. But that's obviously just bullshit. The centrifugal force and all, it's like, it's completely explained backwards. I mean, really, in physics, they call it normal force. The force is pushing up on you. Normal force, and then you have gravity, the fictitious force. So you have normal and you have fictitious. What sounds like, what would you rather go with if you had to go with one or the other? I'm going to go with normal, because normal seems like it's real, If it's normal, that means it's a real thing. If it's fictitious, it sounds like a story that's something I wouldn't want to stake, hang my hat on. So I'm going with the normal force being the force that's at play here, which is pushing up on us, giving us our weight and our orientation. I don't have to say that the Earth is accelerating up at some umpteen million, trillion, gazillion miles per hour at a time. We're in this frame of reference. We might as well be stationary, what we're experiencing here. Whatever the conditions that were set in order for this to be our experience, I mean, it's really kind of a moot point also, but, like, there is no downward acceleration, and that is something that's noteworthy. Because if you can't measure it, then is it really there? It's just an observed effect. It's not a measured effect. You take an accelerometer and you drop it, it registers 0. Like there's no, like it's at rest while it's appearing to fall. So that can fuck with your head a little bit. It is about contact force, but that's what causes acceleration. So it's not accelerating to the ground. It's just not being supported, so it's just gonna appear to fall until it gets supported again. But once it gets supported, it registers 1 upwards motion, acceleration, 1 g or whatever, which is like 9.8 meters squared per second, but upwards, not down, which is kind of a head fuck. But they just kind of like weasel their way around that one. Well, the Earth can't be going upwards at this speed because that's just crazy. And since we know Earth is a sphere, it can't be doing that. It's like, dude, that's really shitty logic, really. Because for one thing, the Earth isn't a sphere. Or maybe it is, but the part we walk on is flat. And that's easy to know. You just have to think about the fact that where you stand right now, if you were to just start expanding outward evenly in every direction, that expanse can only widen. It'll get wider and wider and wider until you just expand it all the way out until you run out of room to expand into. It's never going to do anything but expand because you'll just be adding more area, encompassing more area. It'll just get wider and wider and wider. It's the only thing that can happen. On the globe model, we're supposed to believe that the biggest circumference you can draw on the face of the Earth is circling just a little bit less than half the whole world. So the biggest circle you can draw on the face of the Earth is only circling a little bit less than half of the known world. Does that make any fucking sense? No, it doesn't. It's so silly when you think about it. It's so funny. Once I first realized that, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, dude. The biggest circle we can draw on the Earth is only circling a little bit less than half the Earth. That's stupid. Because you just see, well, there's a whole bunch more Earth left. Why can't we just make a bigger circle? It's so dumb, dude. It doesn't check out. It's not logical. If I told you the biggest circle I can draw in my neighborhood is circling half my neighborhood, you would think I was being stupid. But when you say it about the Earth, it's sort of, okay, that's totally true. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason that would make sense is if you already knew the Earth was a globe, but like, we don't know that. And the whole thing about gravity making you feel oriented upright no matter where you are in the ball, that's what really throws a monkey wrench in everything. Because it's like now they can just say, oh, look, you're on a ball, even though you're on a flat stationary plane. Yeah, that's a cheap shot, man. That's weak sauce. I don't like that. Why don't we just say, until you prove it's a ball, then we're just, we're not on a ball. The only way to prove that is to take us and show us it. And since that's not possible, then it's a moot point. But where's your map? Where's your map? What about the 24-hour sun? I understand that fucks with my head. I get a lot of cognitive dissonance about that because I get more cognitive dissonance about the straight line path of the equator than I do about the two 24-hour suns. It's the fact that the sun's moving over your head at a straight line on the equinox with the equator. That's what really fucks with my head because it comes back, you know, it's like boom, 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 then it comes back. It's like, what the fuck? Where's it going? Is it going under you? It's too crazy. I mean, something's happening, but like, I can't say that the Earth is a ball just because of what I'm seeing in the sky. That would be a fallacious statement because I'm lacking receipts. I can show you some kind of logical train of thought that makes sense in the sense that like, well, how do you explain what's going on in the sky? Well, that would make sense, but then you're stuck having to explain how you're on the outside of a ball with no curvature or motion. It's a can of worms. That should be the last possible choice of options that you're going to choose from as far as like what you think this reality is. That should be the last one. Like, it shouldn't even really be humored, honestly, because it's so silly. I mean, really, it's just kind of ridiculous. It's like a religious belief more than anything else. Anyways, thought I'd give my 2 cents. I love you, whoever you are in there. Sea Lightning. Cheers. Shout out to Sea Lightning. Good shit.